Brooklyn, where stories grow wild to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to...
Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV. It's been a great time. I've had a chance to just rest, renew my batteries, and now I'm back looking forward to season 3 of Born to Speak to You TV. And we got a great show for you this evening. What if the story that you've been told is actually the story someone else needs to hear? What if the story that you've been through is actually the story that someone else needs? Well, on this special episode of Born to Speak to You TV, we're going to sit down with entrepreneur, author, publisher, and visionary leader, Shenitha Burton. She's the founder of She Publishing. Now, she had very humble beginnings in Chicago's Robert Taylor Homes to becoming a successful business owner and champion for aspiring authors. This is going to be something that you're going to want to hear because everybody has a story. And together we're going to explore how purpose can transform pain into possibility, how mindset and determination can open up doors for you that once seemed locked, and why your story has the power to change lives, including your own. This is Born to Speak to You TV, and we'll be right back. Welcome to Born to Speak to You TV, where we're speaking life into the moments that matter. This isn't just a show, it's a movement. It's a space where stories are honored, voices are lifted, and truth has a mic. Each episode, we dive into powerful conversations on identity, on equity, growth, healing, leadership, and the courage that it takes to speak up in a world that often wants us to keep quiet. Whether it's through personal testimony, community impact, or artistic expression, Born to Speak to You is where voices rise and change begin. Our mission is simple: to empower people to use their voice, own their truth, and build bridges of communication and understanding. So, sit back or lean in, because you're about to witness what happens when passion meets purpose. This is Born to Speak to You TV. Let's speak life. Welcome everybody to another inspiring episode of Born to Speak to You TV, where our mission is simple but powerful. It's speaking life into the moments that matter. And today my guest is Shenitha Burton. She is an extraordinary person. She's an entrepreneur. She is an author. She is a person that's giving other people a chance to share their story, get their story published. And this episode, Purpose Picks Up the Pen. When Purpose Picks Up the Pen, welcome Shenitha to Born to Speak to You TV. How you doing?
I am doing great, and it is an honor to be here on this show today.
Oh, thank you very much. The honor is all mine. Well, like I like to say, let's jump right into the deep end, because I don't know if you can swim or not, but that's where the party's at, in the deep end. So let's get wet. Let's do this. Are
Let's
you
do
ready?
it.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's do
All
it.
right. First, our first segment, I like to call this the story behind the story. Before there was a publisher, before there was an entrepreneur, before there was a business owner, who was Shenitha Burton?
So before all of that, before all the titles, all the success, I was actually Shenitha Hoskins. Let's start there. Before I was married, and I was
Okay.
a little girl from the Robert Taylor Project homes who um, didn't realize at that time that I didn't have much, but I have family. And so that's what meant the world to me. So I was a young girl, I was inspired. And when you don't have, you learn how to be creative. And so that's what I was, a creative little girl who grew up in the Robert Taylor Project homes who had big dreams.
Okay. Okay. Now, was it someone specific who spoke life into you when you needed it most?
Yes, absolutely. It was my village, and my village consisted of my parents, my mom, my dad, my grandparents, my grandmothers. They actually was one of the inspirations for me to start the publishing company, and I can share that story a little later. And just the people in the community who, when my mother couldn't be there, when my parents couldn't be there, my babysitters, and then as I got older and became an adult, those angels or mentors around me were the people that I worked with. So yes, I've forever had others to speak life into me, always.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. Now, I know I did a little background check on you, if you will, because
Hmm.
I always like to do my research on guests coming into the show, and I read that there was a defining moment during the COVID-19 pandemic that made you say, "I need to start this publishing company." Tell us a little bit more about that.
I told you to go and do research on all of this. Okay, yeah,
Hey,
no problem.
it's it's what I do.
You do it well. Okay. So, yeah. So, what happened was COVID-19 came. Nobody knew what was going to happen. People were in the hospital, they were getting really sick. You didn't know if you were going to die or live. And I wanted to leave something behind just in case something happened to me. So, I wanted to write a book about me and my husband and how we created this family and this legacy and this tradition and family values that we created. So I wanted to do that. But my grandmother, one of my great grandmothers, she was in a rehabilitation facility. And I was sitting next to her bed and I wanted her to tell me about her life. And I don't know what happened at that moment, but I paused and I said, "Hey, we'll wait till you get out. I don't want to take up too much of your energy." And the next time I saw her, she was in hospice. And I didn't get that opportunity to hear her story. So the combination of that and COVID, and my husband actually starting his podcast, those three things were the things that actually forced me into writing this book. And then I asked myself the question, who's going to publish this book? I don't know any publishers. I went to bed. He put that seed in me. God put that seed in me. And let me tell you, I woke up, went to the state of Indiana, started this publishing company, picked up the phone, called my mom and said, "I don't know what the heck I just did, but we about to be on the job training with this publishing company."
All right. I love it. I love it. That's a lot of things that I've done in life. I didn't know how to do it, but the opportunity came, and I always believe in taking opportunities and figuring it out later. always say
Yes.
yes to always say yes and then get it done later. So, great job on that one. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I was surrounded by three project complexes. And I've heard stories about Robert Taylor projects. I'm not from
Yeah.
here, but my wife is, and she relays stories to me about how different parts of Chicago is similar to different parts of New York. And I know about when you grow up in or around the projects, oftentimes there's despair. There's a million stories about life that has gone wrong for people. So why do you think that it's for you to to create opportunities for underrepresented voices?
That is very important, because everybody doesn't have family who speak life into them. So I'm so glad you started with that. And that's what it's really all about, because it's really not about that you grew up in poverty or all of that. No, your past, your beginnings don't have to be your destination. You have a whole journey ahead of you. And so for me, because I was able to, because I lived in that, because I can still see, I still have memories of that. White girl gym shoes I used to wear, and nobody really knows what those are, but you get those from Payless. They're like white. I actually can remember the smell, the smells in those homes. And so for me, I always want to help others. Um, Clifton Strengths. It's a book, signature theme, signature strengths or something 2.0 by Tom Rath. It's a book. And I was introduced to that book when I became a government official. So running the operations of a federal courthouse and then having other mentors and trainers around me to introduce me to different things. There's like a survey in the back of the book. You take it, you answer the questions, and you get these 34 signature themes. And so my top two, I'll say my top two are developer and learner.
Hmm,
So I had been developing and learning all of this time, but not really knowing what to name it. So that kind of showed me where my strengths were. And then when I began to do different things, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I want to develop. I want to learn. So I've had the opportunity to be in positions where I've been able to introduce people to Toastmasters. I have been able to hire people. I actually just had the opportunity to hire someone who didn't have a job, and they brought skill, experience. They came to that interview. They did what they were supposed to do. They researched the company. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have the ability to help people. And so now just being a publisher, because if you asked me 10 years ago, did I see myself in this role? I will tell you, no, I have a legal background. So
right.
what he will do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure if you knew you would be doing this, Calvin, born to speak to you. Like, this is amazing,
That's
And
right.
so, yeah, so you've given me another opportunity to share She Publishing LLC and the family. So for me, I try to make packages affordable for authors who come from places that I've come from.
Hmm.
So I try to have a gambit of packages, and I want to be able to help, whether we can publish or not. I want you to get your story and your book out there because your story matters. Everybody has a story, everybody. And
Every
you are going to inspire someone, and you are going to touch somebody that me and Kelvin can't. So
that's
that's why
right.
it's important for you to share your story. I'm sorry, but yes.
That is
And
correct.
I was all
And
over the place, Calvin. I'm sorry.
that's okay. You found you did answer the question. Why was it important for you to create opportunities for underrepresented voices? Thank you so much for that. We're going to put a pin in it right back, and we'll be right back with more conversation with Shenitha Burton. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We'll be back in 60 seconds. This is Calvin Gibbs with Born to Speak to You TV, And here's your Born to Rise tips. Sometimes the best things you can do is not think, not wonder, not imagine, don't obsess. Just breathe and have faith that everything will work out for the best. Oftentimes we make ourselves sick, worrying, obsessing, having anxiety about what's going to be. Just have faith that everything is going to come out okay. And usually it does. The things that you're worrying about have no merit in your life. They're there to confuse you, to make you feel weak, to make you feel inadequate. So the best thing you can do is don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't wonder about it. Don't obsess over it. Just have faith that everything will work out for the best.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark.
And we are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. My guest today is Shenitha Burton, and our topic is When Purpose Picks Up the Pen. In fact, that's going to be our next segment, When Purpose Picks Up the Pen. And, and Shenitha, why do you believe so many people struggle to tell their stories?
That is a oh wow, that could be that's like a multi it could be several things. One, some people like myself, I don't really like talking about myself. So to share my story, it's like, where do I start? Where do I begin? And that's a lot of what happens with authors who come to us to publish with us. They don't know where to start. So, those who don't know where to start, I say, think of a couple of stories that you would want to talk to your girlfriend or your guy friend about and start with that,
Mm,
because people love stories, and once you start that, oh, you gonna start rolling. So I just say think of some stories. But again, some people don't want to because they just don't want to talk about themselves. But there are some authors who said they couldn't stop. It was coming like a fountain, like one of those red things on the streets. What do you call them? Those hydrants that's just come. They like the ideas
yep.
just coming. They couldn't stop writing. And it was to
Mm,
the point where there are some people there to the point where it's like, this could be a series. So how about we do that?
there you go. There you go. Now, you know what I think is that oftentimes people don't want to talk about themselves when they know it's going to be recorded or it's going to be put into a book or something like that. They don't want to do that on a one-on-one basis. If we're just having a conversation and I start to talk and I start asking you questions, you can find out a whole lot of stuff about people because people, I think, generally love to talk about themselves. They just don't want it recorded. They just don't want it put into print, right?
You got a really good point. Like that is a huge point because me and you, we've talked offline, but then you come on a show, you're being recorded and you forget your name. You
Hmm.
forget the title of your book. You forget your favorite quotes because you're being recorded. So it is so true.
Yeah.
And some people, they care about what others think. They don't want to hurt somebody's feelings if they say something, in a book. I had a lady who wanted to talk about her life, but she felt like if she said certain things, she would hurt the people in her life who took care of her. So she didn't want to say certain things or say it a certain way. So she was um, really thoughtful about the way she shared information. But
Okay.
you got a point.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, once a person finds the courage to finally share their truth, to share their story, I know the answer to this one because it's happened to me. But what would you say happens when people finally find the courage to share their truth?
I say in some instances it's a relief. In some instances it's a form of therapy. For people,
Hmm.
it's like, oh my gosh, I shared it. I let it go. I'm helping someone. Or, and sometimes you'll be surprised at how many people were like, wow, I felt that way. Or maybe I experienced those things. So thank you for sharing. But it's like a relief. And then I would say, stand 10 toes down on your story. Be
Hmm.
okay with your story. Be okay with who you are and what you've shared. Everybody's not gonna like it, but some people will. You're gonna touch some people, you're not gonna touch others, and that is totally fine.
Absolutely, absolutely. More than 10 years ago, I was offered the chance to be a keynote speaker back in Brooklyn at the elementary school that I graduated from. And I'm on the stage. My family was in the audience. This is the first time they had heard me, speak on a stage. And I mentioned about my father having a drug problem. Because I talk about mom all the time, talk about my brother all the time, but I never talked about dad. Well, he had a drug problem, and my brother like went off on me. Why would you say that? Why would you tell people that? Blah blah. And I kind of went into a shell. And over the years, as I'm on in more and more stages, I realized that I have to share my truth. Yes, I understand, brother, it's your truth as well, but I'm telling my truth. This is what I feel. And I can't be real and tell people to, do this, that, and the other if I'm not doing it. So a couple years, 2 years ago, I was on a stage and I mentioned, that my father was, and I found the right phrase. He was battling his own drug demons. And that was enough. Do you know how free I felt after that?
Yes.
I mean, that was therapy for me. All of a sudden, the rest of the talk, I became animated. It's like I was free, and
Yes.
and I did my thing. So yeah, that is so true. When people finally find the courage to share their truth, how do you help people recognize that their story matters?
Yeah. So I do want to just piggyback and say that
Oh, okay.
I do want to say that that was very courageous of you to share that. And people want to hear the real, true stories. They don't just want to hear all the good things and the fluff. They want to hear real. They want to hear that you've been through life. They want to hear that you're a human. And that's okay. And that's why authors, when they're sharing things, they are being very careful about what they share, how they share, because they don't want to offend anyone. But I just recently, in one of my new books, from Projects to Publisher, I had to share that one of my biggest events, my 5-year anniversary, at the end of the night when the lights turned off, I didn't feel like a great CEO. I didn't feel like a great mother because I feel like I missed the mark when it came to my family, and I told the truth. And I felt great about it. So that is so great. I'm glad you shared that. And again, that was very courageous. But how do I encourage people to share their story and that it's meaningful? So, me as a publisher, I hear several stories. We've published over 70 projects. And so I've heard
Wow.
so many different stories. And I have to tell you, none of those stories were the same. None out of all of those books. And that is on a small scale of things, 60, 70 books. But you would think that maybe somebody's story is identical and it's not. It's just like your thumbprint. Nobody's thumbprint is the same. And so there's different components to it. And so I have meetings with the authors. We have powwows. We have sessions about goals, marketing, and things like that. So I tell them no story is the same. And you are going to
Hmm.
reach people that someone else didn't have the opportunity to reach. So your story is important, you know.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, let's get back to when purpose picks up the pen. And I have been dying to ask this question since we had our little talk about a month or so ago.
Oh,
What makes she, no, it's cool. What makes she publishing different from other traditional publishing houses?
wow. And it's basically just what I was just telling you. Everybody's thumbprint is different. So while publishing is nothing new, I'm bringing you me. I'm bringing you my strengths. I'm bringing you my red apple, what I give. So we are very personable. We want to make sure we meet our authors, the people who are going to be a part of this family, because that is our company's motto is we are truly family. You know, what I will tell my mother is what I will tell you. What I will tell my sister is what I will tell you. So we're about family. We're about marketing. We have the Sheep Hub Network where we interview our authors. We want them to launch their books every year, and we want to provide a platform for them to do it. We have a B&B newsletter magazine, and we are always thinking of things to help them market their book, share their story, and let them know that their story matters. And it doesn't matter if one person bought the book, 10 people, or 10,000 people bought the book. Your story matters.
Matters.
So,
Okay. All right. Now, this is the last question for this segment. Your brand says we create the table of opportunity for entrepreneurship.
yes.
Explain entrepreneurship.
Yes, entrepreneurship. So, I consider myself to be a civicpreneur. So that means that by day I'm serving and by night I'm becoming. So I am a civicpreneur. So with authors, it's not just about the book. It's about the human. It's about your book is your business if that's what you want. So we are creating entrepreneurs. Okay, authors who are becoming business owners because their business is the book.
Hmm.
So that's what that means.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We're going to take another break and we'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. And we'll be back in 60 seconds. We're going to have a video from our sponsor. We are back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and we're having a great conversation today with my guest, Shenitha Burton. This is When Purpose Picks Up the Pen, and we're going to move Shenitha right into our next segment, which I call Mindset Grind Success. Now, I have a workshop that I do, and I've been talking about this on a lot of stages this month, and it's about mindset and grind. The grind equals success. And I often say, you can't cheat the grind. We get our mindset together and then we grind it out. We do what we have to do, and you can't cheat the grind. What does that statement mean to you?
Wow. What that statement means to me is there's no getting rich quick here. You know,
Mm,
you got to do the work. Okay, go ahead and do the work. And a part of doing the work is also going to sleep, getting your rest, drinking your water, washing your hands too, keeping your health. But that's what that means to me. Do what you have to do, learn what you have to do. Don't take any shortcuts because it's going to be worth it doing grinding, doing what you need to do, and
hmm
seek the mentors that you need to seek, you know?
Yeah. And during the grind, I find that's when you actually yourself growing, when you're
Yes.
doing the grind. Now, I get it. People get tired, people get burnt out. I understand. Don't want to get up. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to work. Just leave me alone. But that's where you find growth. That's
Yeah, it's about the journey.
Yeah, it's all about the journey. So, and a big part of that is keeping yourself motivated during those difficult seasons. Now,
Yes.
in your life, what's something that you can tell us that you have done to stay motivated during a difficult season for you?
Yes. Wow. It's about um being able to identify what fuels you. What gives you that deposit in your emotional bank account when you have all these withdrawals happening, challenging seasons happening. So for me, it's taking a vacation. That sometimes I have to get away. Sometimes I have to go painting with my sister, and we are doing something that has nothing to do with what we have to do. But spending time with family is something that always motivates me. And also taking a course, taking a course, getting becoming knowledgeable sometimes in the wait seasons, and sometimes
Hmm,
volunteering for something. So one of the things that I did was I volunteered for something that I would never do in my life. And that is I volunteered at it's called the Windy City Invitational. It's a gymnastics competition. It happens every January at Navy Pier. And I learned how to time gymnastics on how to do certain things. I was over in the kitchen area helping with the all the coaches and things because we have to make sure they have water and different things. So I was able to volunteer and do something different, and it always fuels me. So for me, being spontaneous, doing things that you never think you would do, those things will motivate and inspire you.
okay, sounds. Thank you for sharing that. Now, we're talking about mindset, grind, and success. Let's go back to the mindset part just for a few minutes because I know to actually sit down and actually start writing or talking into a recorder so that it can transcribe is something that takes a specific mindset. You got to be ready to do this. How would you help someone that says, I don't know what to write? I don't know how to get started. How would you help that person?
Yeah. So what I do currently is I have goal meetings. I actually have a journal that helps them get started that has writing cues in it for them. And then we talk about what fuels them. You have to be able to identify what fuels you to get you going. Then I ask, where do you have the most energy? Is it during the day? Is it at night?
Okay.
Because you may have to identify when you actually feel like doing something. I have to tell you, I have been writing a book for 5 years. Okay. And sometimes it takes 5 years, but then I just published the book May 23rd. So again, we have to find those things in our lives that's going to keep us motivated. We have to be able to identify where is my energy up and down at. And so for me, I like to write either in a coffee shop or either by the water.
Mm,
So I pull from them. I ask them different questions. I say, "Hey, you know, what do you like to do? This and that." And then after that, so me and I have my innovations manager in the room with me. And then after we collect all this information, we come up with a game plan for them and we try it. There are
okay.
even times where I have writing sessions with them. And then again, like I said earlier, I asked them, "What are some moments in your life, some experiences that you've had in your life? Tell me about 5 experiences." And I will tell you, I have a there's a we have legacy projects, and so what I do is I've done a presentation, and it's called the Legacy Project. And I go in and I have a whole plan on what they should do, and we do that activity together. And then from that moment, I tell you, they have ideas. It starts to flow. And again, they're gonna get to writer's block. You might get to a point where you have writer's block and you have to have those things that you have listed on what inspires me. What do I need to do? I need to stop. Do I need to vacation? Do I need to talk to my kids? Do I need to have fun? So we actually have those sessions with our authors or with people who want to publish with us.
Okay, great. And that is also, I think, might be the answer to the next question I was going to ask you is is what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck between where they are and where they want to be? And you mentioned writer's block, you know, and it could be anything else. They could be stuck just getting started. And your
Yes.
system seems to be great for getting people in the right mindset.
Yes. And I'll tell you, like some people, when they first jump in, they want a ghostwriter. Some people want a ghostwriter because you can have someone to help you start your story. The ghostwriter has to get the information for you. And I will tell you about 80% of the people who ask for a ghostwriter, after they see what the ghostwriter has written, that actually gives them the motivation to say, "I can actually do this. I can
Hmm.
write this." And they have taken it over. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's move right into our next segment. It's called Speaking Life into the Moments That Matter. Speaking life into the moments that matter. What moment in your life required the greatest amount of faith? What moment in your life required, in your opinion, the greatest amount of faith?
It would be, I had a challenging moment with one of my daughters,
Mm,
and someone had come into their lives who was a bad influence. And I literally had to take off work and focus on my daughter so that we could rebuild and so that I could be there for her and give her the love that I needed to give her in order for us to get back to where we are today. So,
okay, 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 okay. When I ask you about the phrase speaking life, what would you say that means to you?
speaking life means to me to be there for someone to try to make something better than you found it. Just that simple. Just that little.
Hmm.
Make it better than you found it. And when you do that, everything else will follow.
Absolutely, absolutely. If someone that's watching this today, if they feel invisible, nobody sees me, nobody hears me, nobody understands me, what would you tell them? What would you say to them?
I would say to them, "Oh wow, that is a really that is." A really great question. I'll say you got me there. And I would
Write a book.
say, oh my gosh, that's it. Thank you.
Write a book.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Write a book because, yeah. Thank
It's
you.
thera- it's therapeutic. It'll get your thoughts out on paper. Somebody will read it. Somebody will understand you, and not everybody's going to get what people write, but somebody might.
Yeah. I mean, and people are writing unpublished books as well, just like a journal.
Yeah.
So
Oh
you
yeah.
are
That's
absolutely right.
yeah.
Like, write it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. 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 So let me ask you,
Yeah.
what chapter are you currently writing in your life story right now?
Oh my gosh. The chapter that I'm writing in my life story is building your own table.
Mm,
Building your
okay.
own table. And you know what? And it is for the person who feels invisible because there was
Okay.
a moment I felt invisible. But it's the all you have to do is look around you to the people who love you, to the people who encourages you. And sometimes it's good to have that resting point to not be seen all the time because that will give you the time to work on you and build you and your self confidence. But it's about building your table, building your circle, building the people who mean the most to you and finding those who you mean something to.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I love that answer. Love that answer. Now, I can't let you go without asking you um, some questions about some of your books. Okay, in specific, your book from projects to publisher. Okay, it's powerful just from the title, of course. But what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from that journey, from being that girl with the what do you call them, the white girl shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife told me about those white shoes as well.
Yes.
But from that little girl in Robert Taylor Holmes to now, what's the biggest lesson you learned about your journey?
And and I gotta take it from a quote from one of my coaches is speak what you see until you see what you said.
Wow. Okay.
And it could actually happen. And it's crazy because I've spoken things and they actually happened. But I'm grinded though. But I've had that mindset. It's never been a that job is too big for me. No, it's been starting something, developing something. It's what I heard today, something about faith over fear. That's what it's been. It's been faith over fear. That's what this journey has been for me. So, and I tell
Okay.
people all the
Wow.
time, like, if this was it, with the publishing company, oh my gosh, I have met so many amazing people. I've met you, even Toastmasters. And just to say, from projects to publisher, projects is a loaded word. Projects stand for the Robert Taylor projects that I've lived in, the Toastmasters projects that I've accomplished, and the mentors that I've met, being a part of that community, including you, Calvin, and your wife, your lovely wife. And then three, the projects that I've published that I didn't have a clue I would be publishing, including my own projects. And I continue to learn and grow and build. And I write because I want to share my experiences because I am hoping that you can learn something or get inspired or stay motivated, in this thing we call life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you could speak to your younger self from the Robert Taylor projects, what would you say to little Shanitha?
Well, I would
Oh,
say continue to wear your white girl gym shoes, girl, because they're gonna pay off.
all
No,
right. I love it. I love it.
yeah, stay inspired.
Stay inspired. I love that. I love that. My sixth grade teacher, the one I told you when I graduated from elementary school, we used to have these little autograph books, and we would have let the classmates and teachers sign little things in it. I don't know how in the world this is one of the things that I've kept all these years from sixth grade. My sixth grade teacher, Mrs. Harden, wrote, "Search every rainbow until you find your dream." And I was
Wow.
like, you know what? That's what I've been doing. That's what I actually
Mhm.
did. I've had so many different jobs. I've been in computers, I've been working in the library, I've been a teacher, so on and so forth. But it wasn't until I learned the power of words and how, and this was minutes ago, you can say something and manifest it and it will happen. Until I learned the power of words, even through Toastmasters. It's about the power of words. This show is about the power of words manifesting and becoming reality. So my teacher wrote, "Search every rainbow until you find your dream." Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
I'll have to write
I don't
that one
know.
down. I love
Yeah, I
that.
don't. Yeah, I don't know where she got it or whatever, but it. There's several pages in that autograph book that got ripped up over the years. That page is still intact.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess it was
Yeah.
meant to be with me for when I needed it. So let's take a little break
Mhm.
right here, and when we come up, we got a special segment of Born to Speak to You. It's going to be 30 seconds to speak life. We'll be right back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. We're back. This is Born to Speak to You TV. I'm Calvin Gibbs. My guest is Shenitha Burton. This segment is called 30 Seconds to Speak Lives. So, Shenitha, you have 30 seconds, no more than 30 seconds to answer the question. This is about legacy and impact. And I might throw in a little fun personality questions in there as well. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. So, what impact do you hope She Publishing leaves on future generations?
I want them to know that they can have history in their writing.
Okay,
They
great.
can make history.
Okay, what do you hope people remember most about your work?
That we cared and we our philosophy is about family and building literary families.
Okay, sounds good. What does it say?
Yeah, I didn't hear that question. Sorry.
Okay, what does success mean to you today?
Oh man, success to me means today is simply being with family and friends and being able to eat and do the regular things in life that, we all want to do. It's really simple for me.
Okay, okay. If you could leave our viewers with one life lesson, what would it be?
It would be make it better than you found it.
Okay, y'all hear that? Make it better than you found it. You heard it right from Shenitha. Okay, Shenitha, I read that you enjoyed dessert before dinner. Is that rebellion or is it confidence?
At first, it was rebellion. Now it's I like to have what I want in the beginning, and I can do the rest later.
Okay, okay. What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about Shenitha Burton?
Wow, that I sang at Orchestra Hall in downtown Chicago on Michigan Avenue.
Wow, wow. Okay, that is a surprise. I didn't know that. And my last question is, if you could have dinner with any three authors, dead or alive, who would they be? Three authors, either dead or alive, to have dinner with.
Yes,
Who would it be?
Barack Obama, Stephen King, and the Bridgerton lady, the one who wrote those books, Shonda Rhimes.
Okay. Wow. Good job. Good job. Good job.
I
Man,
tried.
you did a real good job. And I think we've handled all of the questions. So Shanitha, I want to thank you for being a great guest. If anyone wants to reach out to Shanitha, maybe you are trying to get your book published, or you want to even just start, you can contact Shanitha. Her information is on the screen right now. Her company is She Publishing, and you can reach her at info at shepublishingllc.com. All right. And Shanitha, again, I want to thank you for being a fantastic guest. I know we're going to be crossing our paths several times during this month. I look forward to seeing you live again in person. And hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yes, and thank you for having me, Calvin. This has been a really wonderful experience.
My pleasure. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. This is Born to Speak to You TV. This is Calvin Gibbs, and this is the segment we like to call Born to Rise. I'd rather have an enemy who admits they hate me instead of a friend who secretly puts me down. Yes, I would rather have somebody that says, Calvin, I do not like you, because I know where that person's coming from. They're being honest. They're being truthful. I know which category to put them in. But when you have a friend who secretly puts you down behind your back, say they got your back when they're talking to you, facing you, and then secretly behind your back, they're talking about you, they're laughing at you, they're hoping you don't be successful. Now, give me the enemy. Give me the enemy any day that admits that they hate my guts instead of a friend, or what I perceive to be a friend, who secretly puts me down. That's your tip for today. This is Born to Rise, and I'm Calvin Gibbs. This is Born to Speak to You TV.
From the streets of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark.
Wow, what a incredible conversation we've just had with Shenitha Burton of She Publishing. Today we've been reminded that our beginnings do not define our endings, that our challenges can become our testimonies, and that our stories have the power to inspire, heal, and even transform. I guess Shenitha Burton has shown us that purpose is not something we find by accident. Purpose is something that we embrace, something we cultivate, and something that we live out intentionally. So whether you're writing a book, building a business, pursuing a dream, or simply trying to navigate your next chapter, remember that your voice matters, your experiences matter, and your story matters. The world may be waiting for the very message that only you can deliver. I want to thank you for joining us in this powerful episode of Born to Speak to You TV. I again want to extend a special thank you to our guest, Shenitha Burton, for sharing her wisdom, her journey, and her commitment to helping others discover the power of their voice and purpose. We'd also like to extend a sincere thank you to DFN Broadcast Studios for providing a platform where meaningful conversations can thrive and where guests can continue speaking life into the moments that matter. And if today's conversation inspired you, then please like, subscribe, share, and follow Born to Speak to You TV on all of our social media platforms. The QR code is on the screen right now, and that will take you to our YouTube channel where you can see all the past and future episodes of Born to Speak to You TV. And remember, no matter where you've been or what you've faced, your story is still being written. Until next time, I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs. This is Born to Speak to You TV, where you can hear the story and claim the glory. And we are speaking life into the moments that matter.
Of Brooklyn, where stories grow wild, to the glow of the stage where the dream meets the child. A quiet flame, a hidden spark, drawn to the words that lit up the dark. Curtains rose and so did he, finding power in poetry. One voice, one mic, one sacred truth. Every word he spoke uncaged the youth. He saw the world try to silence the bold, but his soul was wired to break the mold. Now he walks in purpose, pure and true. He was born to speak to you. He's got that rhythm in his truth, that fire in his flow. Speaking life into the moment, watch it grow.